on this computer? All right. Okay, guys. Well, I tell you what we're going to do. Actually, I tell you what, before I do that, I'm just going to move this over here. Sorry, I'm just doing some adjusting. So I tell you what we're going to do, guys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get it kicked off here. And I want to welcome everybody to another Tuesday live training here at the OneSource Personal Development Network. And today, what are we going to do today? This week, sorry. It's not going. What's going on? There we go. Okay, so what are we going to do this week? This week, we want to get into you're either green and growing or ripe and rotten. What I want to do is I want to talk about the importance of personal growth. It's really important within our system, as we know, because primarily, well, first and foremost, we have to make sure that we're always very aware of it because it's one of the key areas. But for ourselves and our clients and the individuals that we're hopefully coaching and training to become consultants themselves, really, really difficult area for a lot of people. A lot of people I notice when I do sessions with people, they get one or two of the activities down, but they don't really understand how powerful this area can be. So that's why I want to make sure that we spend a bit of time on it today. I mean, last week, as you know, we spent a good bit of time with James as far as taking a look at the area of finances. A couple weeks before that, we did relationships. So I thought, yeah, you know what, probably be a good opportunity to get into the area of our personal growth today. So why is it so important that we continuously grow and evolve and become more? Well, there's a number of different reasons, but probably the biggest one that comes to mind for me is it's a need. We all have an internal need to grow and become more. If you think back to the early days when we were first learning the system, when we got to this session number 4, the science behind the system, you'll note it's all based on neuroassociative conditioning. And part of neuroassociative conditioning is the 6 basic human needs that we all have. Now, we some of us value some more than the others, but we all have the same needs. And if you remember, they go as follows. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but just a quick refresher. We all have that need for certainty, safety, security. We all have a need for uncertainty, variety. We all have that need for significance, connection, love. But the 5th is what we're going to cover today. We all have a need for growth. And again, some of us value that need more than others, but we all have the need all the same. So that's why it's so important that we make sure that we're spending the time within ourselves when we're doing our dashboard and we're working our system, that we really give this area the attention that it deserves. But equally important with the clients that we're serving, okay? Because again, this is an area that, it can be very powerful if used correctly. So for an example, if we just look at the 6 basic human needs there, well, certainty, the area of growth, we know that if we do certain activities, we're going to produce certain results. We can not only meet the need for growth, we can also meet the need for certainty, but also too uncertainty. Uncertainty, variety, it's a great opportunity to meet the need for variety as well, because you can add so many different things. You can put literally 20 different things inside this area. And you don't have to do each one every day. You can just select the 3 or 4 that you want to work on, but it gives you the opportunity to have a lot of variety to not only meet the need for growth, not only meet the need for certainty, but also give you that bit of variety. Also, too, as far as significance, we all have that need for significance, whether we admit it or not. And it's not a bad thing. It's like I've said before, it's the vehicle that we choose to meet that need, which makes it a positive or negative. So we can meet that need for significance by growing and becoming more. So again, these are just some of the areas, some of the needs we can meet, and some of the, I suppose, ways that you really need to think about this area. Because like I say, it really truly is. It's a really extremely powerful area when used correctly. And I'm guilty of it myself. I know it's an area that we tend to gloss over sometimes. As a matter of fact, I'm guilty of saying to people, and I caught myself doing it recently, when I'm reviewing dashboards, if they're struggling, having a tough week or whatever, and I'll quickly say to them, well, truthfully, out of all the areas, the one area I would be overly concerned about is your area of personal growth at this stage. You try to get them to focus on the relationship with themselves or their health to make sure that they're looking after themselves. The finances, so they can avoid any type of trouble, or they can have that bit of security in their lives. But again, I'm guilty of it myself. So again, I just want to make sure that I really reinforce how important this key area is, because basically, what does it mean? It means that you have the opportunity to become a better version of yourself. And at the end of the day, guys, that's what we're doing here. Everything we're doing within the system is to become a better version of who we are, that person that we are. So it's really critical, really important that we're doing it to the best of our ability on a daily, consistent basis. And it's not about trying to become, overnight, this amazing individual that's got everything together. That's never what it's about. It's never about perfection. But what is important is that we take that consistent action, and we make microscopic improvements on a consistent basis. That's how we're going to become the best versions of ourselves long term. So what's the model that we should be thinking of when we're working with clients and when we're working with ourselves? Well, the personal growth model that I recommend is based on these 5 things. Okay. Number 1, belief. Okay. We're all going to start to take our actions. We're all going to start to grow based on our belief of where we feel we deserve, or where we believe we deserve to be at that particular point in time. And it's okay. We all start from wherever we are, but it's going to come down to your belief. Where do you think you deserve to be at that particular point in time? Next thing you do is going to be all about planning. Coming up with your goal setting, or how you're going to organize your day and your actions, the strategy that you're going to use behind it. From there, action as far as how you're going to execute, what habits are you going to work on, how productive are you going to be, how are you going to organize that productivity. As far as that's going to basically determine the results, how you're going to produce those results, what the outcome is going to be, how are you going to reward yourself, what type of feedback are you going to give yourself, then the evaluation, the assessment, redesigning, redesigning your strategy. If you're not producing the results, if you're taking the action consistently and you're not producing a result, change your strategy. But what's all that going to do when you start off with belief, plan, action, produce a result, review the result? Well, as the wheel continues, the next time around, your belief is going to be stronger. And you're going to plan a little bit more effectively. You're going to take better, more effective actions. You're going to produce a better result. You're going to have less to, change or to tune, when you get to the review process, and so on and so forth. It keeps going over and over and over again. But this is a great model, not only for yourself, but when you're working with clients. If you think about it, when we start working with clients, we start working with them at wherever they are at that particular point in time. We establish the baseline. You would have heard me talk about the baseline many times, but you're going to establish that baseline with that individual. And that's what's going to determine in their mind, their belief, what they think they're capable of. And that's fine. But you're going to help them to establish that belief. Then what's going to happen? You're going to help them to plan. You're going to get them to go ahead and set their goals. You're going to organize the actions with them that you're there to support them. As far as the strategy that they're going to use. And obviously they're going to execute the action, but you're going to be involved in that too, because you're going to be monitoring the dashboard. You're going to be supporting them. You're going to be noticed when they're taking the action on a consistent basis. If they start to slide a little bit, you can hold them accountable. And then you're going to monitor the results with them. That's the point of the one-to-one each and every week. You're going to be looking at the results, what they produced, and you're going to do it in a professional manner, but you're going to hold them accountable. And then you're going to review the strategy. You're going to notice what's working and what's not. And what's not working, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to redesign it. You're going to maybe make some suggestions. Not the first week, but after a while, if they're just not producing the results, it's your role as a consultant to go ahead and offer some genuine, good advice to support that individual to produce the results. So, and then what's that going to do? That's going to be go ahead and give them a stronger belief. So as they continue on their personal development journey, and this goes for you too, your belief gets stronger, you plan more effectively, you'll take more effective actions, you'll produce a better result. That's what it's all going to come down to. So this is a really good model. And again, I know it's difficult enough to take in all right now, but when you're doing it on a consistent basis, think of these 5 things when you're working with your client. Think about where they're at as far as their belief. Think about it when you're helping them, when you're planning with them as far as setting the goals and the strategies and organizing their days. Think about the actions they're taking, the results that they're producing. And then when you review it, well, if you need to redesign that strategy, when the time is right, that's what your role will be to do. So another way to look at it is with personal growth is similar. You have your vision. What's your vision? We talk about your definite major purpose statement, your vision that primarily you're looking to achieve, why you're doing your objective, why you're doing what you're doing. You're planning as far as the strategy that you're using, what activities are you doing? What is this the right time of day to be doing this particular activity? If you're not producing the result, well, why didn't you produce the result? Was the timing off? Were you taking the wrong actions? Those are all the things you're going to learn from the actions that you're taking. And then the training, like coming to these things here, always be trying to, take things to the next level, improve your craft. Because again, it's all a journey for all of us. We're always trying to learn more things. We're always trying to take on additional training. We're all trying to gain tools that can help us take it to the next level. Creativity. Your job as a consultant is help that individual become more creative. If you think about the whole mastermind principle, 2 minds joining together to create a third mind, that creates more creativity. That person wouldn't be able to do it on their own. you wouldn't be able to do it on your own. But you can become a lot more creative when the two minds join together. Develop a plan, develop a strategy, develop techniques that they can do. Set their goals with them. You know, let them set their own goals, but you're there to support them, and you're there to hold them accountable when they're not taking the actions on a consistent basis that are going to produce those goals. And you're there to motivate them. When you see that they're struggling, when you see that they're having a tough time, nothing wrong with, picking up the phone, dropping them a quick WhatsApp message, sending them an email, an inspirational thing from YouTube, whatever it takes. Give them some type of motivation. Get them, to jump on a call. I can't tell you how many times that if I see somebody struggling, I'll say to them, you need some support. You want to jump on a quick call. Go the extra mile. Motivate that individual. That's what's going to make you an effective consultant or coach. So if you put all those things together, that's our system, guys. That everything in there, that's what your job is as a consultant. That's what the system is all based on. And one thing I'm always, and you've heard me say this before, the number one thing on the list when it comes to personal development is using our system. I'm always kind of thrown off or surprised or whatever phrase you want to use, whatever word you want to use to describe it. But when I look at somebody's dashboard and I start doing the one-to-one, especially when I work with clients that aren't my own personal clients, when I'm filling in for somebody and I'm jumping around working with different clients every week, filling in, when they don't have the system under personal development, I'm always kind of wondering why. Everything we do with the OneSource personal development system is all about personal growth. It should be the very first thing that is on that list. Taking the time to not just quickly throw in some digits on the dashboard, some stars or some points. No, it's about using the system properly. Taking the time to reflect, to go ahead and to, hold yourself accountable, be truthful, be honest. Did you really earn that point? Are you making it too easy? Are you making it too hard? Are you really having good sessions with your coach or your consultant? All of these things are all come into play, and they're all about personal development, and they're all what make up our system, and they're all the reasons why our system is so effective. So you have to think of it more of an investment in yourself. Jim Rohn, you guys all know how I feel about Jim Rohn. He's one of my favorites. I don't think there'll ever be another like him. But Jim Rohn, he used to always say, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. That's personal growth. That's how you basically, it doesn't happen overnight. It's all about taking those actions on a consistent basis, working on yourself that allows you to go ahead and take things to the next level. One of the biggest benefits, and it's always overlooked, one of the major benefits of, having, taking time to focus on your personal growth every day is as we grow, we become better. But it gives us the opportunity to meet better people. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the family or friends that you currently have, but I think everybody here understands the principle that if you want to go ahead and improve yourself, improve your life, you need to take things to the next level. It's the same if you're in the sport. You're never going to take things to the next level by playing against somebody who's at the same skill level as you are, or worse, somebody who's not as good as you are. If you want to take things to the next level, you have to play against opponents that are better than you. That's how you grow. That's how you become more. It's the same here. It's the same in life. You've heard me say before, one of the things I enjoy about do the work that I do with generation, some of the most amazing people you could ever imagine that I work with. And I'd say 98% of them are at a higher level than I am. But I don't care. I never feel inferior. I look at it as an opportunity. This is an opportunity to grow. I'm learning so much working with these individuals. So again, it's as you grow, as you become more, you'll have more opportunities, to work with better people in all the areas of your life, not just your career, but literally all areas of your life. And it'll give you the opportunity to coach, to consult, to work, have better clients. I've talked about this before. You met one of my clients last week, James. One of the things I really I like working with very successful people. People who in some areas are far above what I am. But again, I couldn't have worked with those people years ago. It's only because I've actually gotten to a point in my life that I'm comfortable. You could put me in front of anybody. And I'm willing to work this system with them. And I don't care if you're a single mother of three, or if you're the the chairperson of a multinational global organization, making 6 million a year. Makes no difference to me at all. I'm confident enough because I've raised my standards and I've gotten to a certain point. But the same will go for you too. But this opposite is true as well. If you're not constantly working on yourself, if you're not constantly growing, well, when you get the opportunity to work with some people that are at a different standard than you, different level, well, you're not going to have the confidence to produce the results for that person, and they'll spot it. And if they spot it, your time working with them will be short-lived. And I'm not trying to say that as a negative way. I'm saying it as a benefit, as an opportunity. By continuously working on yourself, taking things to that next level, gives you the opportunity to work with people that are at a higher level than you are. And that's when this really gets rewarding. Forget about the money. First off, the money, you get more opportunities because they never bat an eye. A successful person will never bat an eye at the fees that we charge if you can produce the result. Never even think twice about it. But you get more than the money. You get to learn, you get to grow, you get to be around better people, a different class. And that's extremely valuable, guys. So it's really important that you take all this on board. You need to be asking yourself questions. How I'm a big believer in asking questions on a daily basis. Ask yourself the question, what can you do today to grow? Are you really putting the effort in? When you're working with these individuals, when you're taking your action, when you're working on your own dashboard, are you really, really honest to God, putting the effort in? Well, you should be asking yourself that question every day. How can I grow today? How can I even grow one microscopic fraction of a percent and better in this area today? When it comes to personal growth too, I noticed that when I review dashboards, you get things like listen to something motivational on YouTube, read for 10 minutes, maybe to, take a Udemy course or something like that. All those things are fantastic. Nothing wrong with any of them. They should all be there. You should always have number one. What's number one? Your system. Then you can have your reading, you can have your motivational, you can have a few different things. And again, this is an area to get some variety. You can add multitude of things. But you should always be thinking about how you can grow in your profession, how you can physically grow, how you can grow socially, and how you can grow intellectually. Don't get stuck in a rut that you're just kind of always doing the same things over and over and over again. Add some variety in there, guys. Try to push yourself, try to grow, encourage your clients, your prospects to grow in these areas as well. As we know, we got our 4 key areas. We have the relationships, we have the health, we've got the personal growth that we're talking about now, and we have our finances. Well, you need to make sure that you understand you should be trying to grow in all of those areas. Like relationships, we talked about this recently, but what qualities and traits, like for an example, and I'm just going to throw it, I know some of you have partners, some of you don't, irrelevant. I'm just going to throw it as an example. If you're a wife, if you're a husband, if you have a partner, significant other, whatever the case may be, doesn't matter. But emotionally, how can you grow to give that person more? What's important to them? Is it respect? Is it courtesy? Is it being patient, being understanding? Those are all forms of growth in your profession. Maybe it's time management. Is it being more productive? Is it improving, maybe getting more efficient on the keypad, as far as maybe learning some shortcuts on Excel, whatever the case may be. These are all opportunities for growth, and they all take time and they all take work. But you have the time, you're putting effort into it each and every day, you should be. These are things that you need to be creative with. You need to, again, add a bit of variety to what you're doing in that area as well. So, and again, when you're supporting somebody, you need to be making these suggestions to them. You would have all heard the saying, I'm sure at this stage, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Well, growth requires you to get out of your comfort zone. If you really think about it, you're never going to grow if you always just stay in that comfort zone. If you want to grow, if you want to evolve, if you want to become more, you need to make sure you're stepping outside of that comfort zone on a consistent basis. It's going to be uncomfortable, but that's where the magic really happens. That's when you have that explosive growth. That's when you raise your standards. That's when you take things to the next level, stepping out of your comfort zone. And again, that's something that could be on the dashboard as well, one of the actions. Did you step outside of your comfort zone today? Did you step out of your comfort zone in your relationships? Did you talk to somebody that you wouldn't have been comfortable talking to before? Did you speak up at a meeting? Did you do something that you found extremely, extremely uncomfortable, but it's going to help you to grow in that particular area? These are the things we need to be thinking about. These are the things we need to be making suggestions about when working with others. These are the things we need to be able to support individual for ourselves and for that client that we're working with. We need to make sure that we're constantly trying to develop a growth mindset. There's two types of mindsets. You have a fixed mindset and you have a growth mindset. We need to make sure that we're always trying to, maintain and improve that growth mindset. Just give you an example. A fixed mindset, somebody would say to themselves, I'm not good enough for this. A growth mindset is, I did my best and it's good enough. It's good enough because you did your best. You're going to grow. You understand it's going to take time. A fixed mindset wants to prove intelligence and talent. In other words, they're picking a bad vehicle. They're trying to prove how intelligent. A growth mindset, well, they just want to improve, their talent and their intelligence. I always look at it, if you remember, when you say your definite major purpose every day, when, I'll say, as far as, part of my definite major purpose is to learn and become more, evolve, improve my level of intelligence and ability. That's a growth mindset. That's what you want to make sure that you're focused on. You're focused on consistently. And again, consistent You probably get sick of me saying it, but I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. I'm going to say it consistently, because consistency really is the key to your growth, and it's the key to success. You don't have to be great at anything. You'd be horrible. You'd be terrible at the beginning. But if you're consistent and if you're persistent and you take that action over and over and over again, eventually you're going to get better. Eventually you're going to grow. And eventually you're going to succeed in that particular area or that task or that skill that you're trying to master. It all takes time, but it all takes consistency. So consistency is the action. It's the key to, and action is the key to success. No question about that. So as far as being a leader, okay, I'm going to talk a minute about being a leader. But before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. So at the early stages of your time with us here at OneSource, your personal development journey, your training, whatever the case may be, it's all about basically growing yourself. That's why it's so important that before any of us work with anybody, before we can support anybody, we use the system. We use it consistently. We work with somebody else. We grow ourselves. Because when you become a leader, when you start supporting other individuals, well, then success is all about helping others to grow. So it's really important that you understand that principle. At the beginning, before you become a leader, it's all about growing yourself, learning to grow yourself, improving yourself. Once you become a leader, it's all about supporting individuals and helping that individual that you're supporting learn to grow and to become more. You are the leader. If you think about it, if you're a joint venture partner, if you're training to become a joint venture partner, if you're a consultant, whatever the case may be, you're a leader. Your role is to support that individual to the best of your ability. And we all have different skill sets, different skill levels. We're all at different points in our journey, different places, levels in our journey. We all have, our strengths and our weaknesses, and that's okay. But you have to always remember the leader is you. You're in charge of those sessions. When you're working with a client, they're paying. They're looking to you as the leader. It's not directive. You're not there to tell them what to do, but you're there to support them. You're going to lead by example. You're going to speak from a voice of experience because you're doing it on a consistent basis. You're the leader. Really important that you get that mindset that you are the leader. When you're working with a client, or if you're only at the point in your journey where you're at the very early stages of becoming a leader and you're just growing yourself, doesn't matter. You're still the leader. Great leaders, well, it always starts with being a self-leader. Self-leadership is all about primarily working on yourself, learning to control and direct your own actions, not getting caught up, not being in reaction mode, being proactive, taking those actions, taking control, leading yourself. Some important areas of self-leadership, common sense, but it's all about self-discovery, self-identity, self-development, self-direction, self-awareness, self-talk, and self-mastery. What's the key word in all of those phrases? Self. Working on yourself on a consistent daily basis. Learning, it's all self-discovery, because every day you're becoming more, you're discovering more strengths and more weaknesses, and more tools and, getting, a different vantage point, to how you see a situation. Your self-identity, oh man, that's so important, because as you grow, your confidence level grows, your identity, your self-image, your self-identity actually improves. Your self-development, all of it is all part of self-leadership. So again, it's your role as a leader to be really aware of this. And you need to make sure that you're working your dashboard, you're working your system, you're holding yourself accountable, you're doing the one-to-ones with your consultant, who's ever above you. You need to make sure that you're taking the time. And if that individual is not doing a proper job, if they're not doing the one-to-ones with you on a regular basis, doing them proper, well, maybe you need to actually have a chat with me about it. I have no problem getting involved, because I want to make sure that everybody is primarily growing and becoming a more effective leader. And if they're not working the system, well, they're going to struggle, and they're not going to be able to give to the people underneath them. You always hear people talk about, oh, leaders are born, or are they made? Whoever you ask, you're always going to get a different opinion. I think it's a combination of both to a degree. I think we all have the ability. I think we're all born leaders, but through our conditioning over a period of time, things that happen to us, well, our confidence gets slowed. We start to question ourselves. We start using negative self-talk to reinforce that conditioning. And over a period of time, oh, we're not leaders anymore. But I think you can also make a leader. I think if somebody's been conditioned that way over a period of time, using our system, you can train and you can work with that individual to go ahead and reinforce those skills, to go ahead and improve those skills, to raise their standards, and to be the leader that they were meant to be. Becoming a leader, well, everything on here, as far as, leaders are purpose driven. What's one of the things that we do? Focus, balance, and purpose. You always have to have that drive. Remember, I say motivation is not enough. You need to have the drive. That's where your purpose comes in. There you have it. Leaders build great teams. So building great teams is a great team of clients, or it could be a great team of consultants that work underneath you. But again, in order to build a great team, you got to start with yourself. Leaders see failures as opportunities to learn. So you might do something, and you might work with somebody, and you might, it might fall on your ass. I don't know. I've messed up along the way, and that's okay. But you look at it as an opportunity to grow and to learn. As far as your diverse values, you have to be able to have difficult conversations. That's something that I think a lot of yous struggle with, holding people accountable, having those difficult conversations. But to be an effective leader, to be a great leader, to become a better leader, you need to learn how to professionally have those difficult conversations. And you need to think differently. You don't just always agree with whatever the individual's saying. You need to look at it from a different perspective. You need to have a different, a fresh pair of eyes on that situation in order to really support that individual. But these are all, and many, many more, part of what it takes to become a great leader or a better leader. Every day you have a choice. Each and every day that you wake up, that I wake up, that our clients, our prospects, that anybody wakes up, they have a choice. You can basically, you can stay where you are in the situation you're in, at the level that you're at, and you can do that by making excuses, or you can make the difficult decision to take the action, to be strong, to take that consistent action, to produce that result, and take things to the next level, even if it's only a fraction, a microscopic percentage better than you were the previous day. That's the choice that you have every day. Stay where you are, or even worse, take a step backwards or move forward. And the choice is always yours. You know, you might have difficult situations, things that happen in your life, and we all have to deal with them. Some are just not fair, and it's unfortunate, but that's life. But ultimately, everything comes down to you, to the choices that you make. Are you going to be there? Are you going to just decide today I'm just going to take a step back, or I'm going to stay exactly where I was yesterday? Or are you going to push forward? You know, become a lifelong learner. Always be trying to learn, improve, and take things to the next level. You know, I have to actually, when I sit back and I think about this, I'm very passionate about learning. And it's amazing to me because I can tell you right now, when I started out, when I was just in early days in school, I was a terrible student, the worst. You have no idea how much I used to hate, any type of formal education, learning, and it reflected in the grades that I got, and it got me off to a very shaky start in life. But now I understand the value of learning, and I enjoy it, and I value it tremendously, because I know that's how you take things to the next level. That's how you improve the quality of your life. That's how you design your life, is by learning and improving and by growing. So Martin Luther King, great leader. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And that's what growth is, moving forward consistently. So my advice to you, take that area of personal growth seriously. Look at those actions that you're taking. Hold yourself accountable. Improve them over a period of time. Always, always, always be focused on taking things, even if it's microscopic. You're going to hear me say that over and over again, because that to me is growth. I don't care, because I understand the power of compounding and that microscopic improvements that you're making, the difference that it'll make to your life long term. So other than that, guys, we're going to wrap it up at that. As always, questions, comments, concerns, always available, always happy to either do it on WhatsApp or jump on a call, whatever the case may be. But other than that, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody as always. I know it's a small enough group, but I always love doing these for a live audience, So again, I really appreciate you taking the time. And other than that, I want to wish everybody a good night. And if you need me, I'm there for you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.